Dude, Mario Kart Double Dash is freaking awesome. It's the first game I ever owned, so it holds a special place in my heart. Since I've been playing quite a bit of Mario Kart 8 recently, I thought I'd revisit my favorite Mario Kart and rank all the tracks. Yep, this is the most original video idea ever. Alright, I don't think I should be turning too many heads with this one. I mean, come on, it's the first track you play in the game. It's not terrible, it's just the most lukewarm experience. I mean, having the tracks squished together in the middle could definitely make for some fun and hectic moments, but other than that, I don't really see Luigis Circuit winning any awards. Sherbetland is lame. I was tempted to put this at the bottom because it was always that one as a kid I just felt like I had to endure. I mean, this track leads off the Star Cup. Yeah, the Star Cup. The three other tracks are so much better and I always wanted to play them, so this always felt like a necessary evil in order to play the good tracks. Even though I have my bias against it, I think it's more interesting than the Luigis Circuit. The winter aesthetic isn't exactly winning me over, but the ice tunnel's pretty cool and bumping people into the ice blocks is kind of fun, I guess. Mario Circuit is just very mediocre to me. I think the only part of it I really like is getting a mushroom to cut through the chain chomp area because that's always really satisfying. Other than that, it just feels like a very bland experience with elements that are done better in other tracks. Yeah, I mean, I guess it has Goombas, which would be cool if their area was actually fun to drive through. Dry Desert is pretty dope. I remember really liking this one as a kid, which, looking back, I think part of that was influenced by the fact that both my sisters didn't like it. They'd get really frustrated, and I'm pretty sure as a 6-year-old I found that hilarious. Upon revisiting it, I can say that I still enjoy it, but it's not really anything crazy. The tornadoes are cool, and the winding roads make for some fun drifting. However, the big gimmick in this track, while cool, is also kinda dumb. Sure, having a Sarlacc pit sounds cool in theory, but after you make the mistake once, it just becomes a thing you gotta drift around, which I don't really find fun or compelling at all, personally. Peach Beach is a track that you just kind of play. Like, when it comes on, I acknowledge it, but it's such a small track that the race just seems to fly by. I really gotta give it some flack for that pipe route, because seriously, who the heck thought that was a good idea? Yeah, I'm just gonna turn in the wrong direction so a pipe can shoot me out. Like, what? They have a fun shortcut already. How could they make that cool one and then let this mistake exist? However, I gotta say, the Cataquacks are pretty fun. It's kinda cool to see some hostile NPCs that can actually chase you. But wait, what is that in the distance? Daisy Cruiser is a track that has a really great atmosphere. The big old pool on the deck is awesome, and the moving dining room tables are always a fun time. I put this above Peach Beach because I think there's just more going on. Even something simple like drifting down the stairs makes this a more enjoyable track. However, I want to discuss the pipe. It's weird to call it a shortcut because it's not technically, I guess. It's almost like a punishment because you can fall down a pit, but some people call it a shortcut. Regardless, I don't really like it. It's cool, but why does it exist? Maybe I'm just being a buzzkill. You know, the pipe's cool. It's definitely better than the Peach Beach pipe, so I'll stop getting on my soapbox here. It's cool. It's just not that cool. Mushroom Bridge is a good time. This really feels like where the list takes a step up. Weaving through the other cars is a lot of fun, driving through tunnels makes you feel like you're going really fast, and let's not forget the coolest part of the track, the bridge itself. The fact that they put boost pads on the sides of the bridge is so cool to me. What a fun shortcut idea. I like seeing shortcuts that actually require some amount of precision and skill because, wouldn't you know, there's another freaking pointless pipe. I mean, I guess it's kinda cool because it's more secretive, but it's essentially what your older brother would use to show off. Baby Park is the definition of beauty and simplicity. Some people love to scoff at it, but real gamers can see that this is the apex of game design. Sure, the track is the most basic thing ever, but it makes up for it by being incredibly chaotic. It's 7 straight laps of people throwing items all over the place. Now you might be saying, that's not that bad, but you and I both know damn well that you've been hit by a rogue Bowser shell on this track more times than Mario's uttered the words, Wario Coliseum is great if you love drifting, which I do. The whole track feels like a free-for-all, not only because of the intense music, but because there are so many moments without railings, which, if you're a seasoned Mario Kart player like myself, it provides a fun extra challenge. It's like bowling with the rails put down. Sure, you might mess up a few times, but when you get that strike, oh, you feel like you're about to go pro. Dino Jungle felt like the most confusing track to rank for me. I think the main reason being that I always liked it, but had some sort of beef with it. The main point of contention being the shortcut under the bridge. I thought it was dumb. However, upon replaying it and talking to some buddies, I gotta say, I still thought it was kinda dumb. But I wanted to like it. I was sick of being stubborn, so I looked up a speedrun of the track and it was like the planets aligned. Seriously, this is me conceding what I previously thought for so long. This shortcut is not dumb, it's freaking badass, and I'm sorry that it took me so long to find this out. Oh, and the dinos are pretty cool too. Mushroom City has such an impeccable vibe to it. Sure, it doesn't have a big stunt bridge, but it really gives off the hustle and bustle of a city at night. Once again, weaving through traffic is fun, but what I enjoy the most about this map that wasn't present in Mushroom Bridge is the element of choice. This track has different streets you can take just like an actual city. This also leads to more chaos because it's not unusual for people to run into each other after the routes reconvene. Also, the little red carpet shortcut will always be fun. I mean, it's become an essential route for me since I was a little kid. And using a mushroom to blast to the finish line while also dodging traffic is a great feeling, especially if you're trying to make a last-ditch effort to get to first place. Also, you can see this track from Rainbow Road, which is dope as hell. Waluigi Stadium is the monster truck derby of Mario Kart Double Dash. It easily outshines Wario's entry in the game because of its use of obstacles and ramps. There just always seems to be some crazy stuff happening. Like the amount of times I've seen people get hit by something on the final ramp goes to show how unforgiving this track can be. Heck, you're jumping through literal rings of fire. I mean, just look at this shit, it's a freaking bloodbath. Bowser's Castle is the perfect combination of fun and a pain in the ass. The music makes it really intimidating, as if the dark visuals didn't already give off that vibe. Seeing all of the fire and lava is kind of essential for a Bowser track. The shortcut is also one of my favorites because if you drift into it just right, it's so satisfying. I also want to bring it up because it blew my mind, but the sloping corkscrew allows you to drift so intensely that upon replaying it, I dodged a blue shell, which sent me into literal hysterics. If only I had been recording. This Rainbow Road will always hold a special place in my heart. I know there have been plenty of them over the years, but whenever I play this one, I just feel like I'm right at home. While it does have a few railings, I love that it has sharp turns and straightaways without them. Drifting up the big corkscrew is still intense to this day, and you gotta love the Rainbow Ascension Tunnel, which saying that now makes Rainbow Road sound like the front for some sort of weird cult. Anyways, even if you struggle with this map, I'm sure you can agree it deserves a spot this high on the list. It feels like a perfect track to end the game with, the ultimate reward. It may not be ranked number 1, but it's phenomenal nevertheless. Yoshi Circuit does so many things right. The daytime island aesthetic makes you smile, and the fact that the track is shaped like Yoshi just makes me happy in general. Weirdly enough, it uses the same music from Luigis Circuit, but I often forget this because the track is so much better that it almost sounds different. It's like the sheer amount of fun is messing with my senses. I also need to say it because it needs to be said. Yoshi Circuit is the definition of shortcuts done right. Like I said with my critiques of the earlier tracks, I like it when shortcuts take some amount of risk to use. When it's just kinda there, it's not really that compelling. Yoshi Circuit doesn't just have one shortcut, it's got 2 of them. The first is near the beginning and requires a mushroom. This one's great because you can skip a whole turn, and if you're a little bit behind, it could potentially launch you right back into first place. The other shortcut is the one most people probably think of, which is the secret tunnel through the mountain, secret. DK Mountain is the GOAT, and you know it's true, like, there's no debate here. It was my favorite track as a kid, and it still holds that title to this very day. There's just so much to love about it. Not only do you get launched from a literal cannon, but you get to make your way down the entire mountain, all the while being able to see other people launch out of the cannon from afar. There's boulders, there's chasms, and the bridge was where friendships went to die. Accompany all this with some great music, and you've got a map that you can play for 20 years and still find new ways to love it. Going back and ranking all these tracks that I grew up with was so much fun. Some of the rankings genuinely surprised me, while others not so much. I'd love to do this again sometime with one of the other Mario Kart games. In the meantime, feel free to leave your own rankings down below, I'd love to see them. I can't wait to see which of my rankings gets put on blast, but it happens. Oh, and in case you wanted to see all of this in tier list form, here it is.